Well, good Saturday to you, and welcome to Central California New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the Madera Spiritual Awareness Center. I'm glad to see you today, and hope you're glad to see us. Today I have a guest, Dr. Lilly from...
Reverend Lilly from New Thought Community.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you made it
glad to
this
be
year.
here.
So
excited.
There you go. What I'd like to do, Reverend Lilly, do you prefer Reverend Lilly or Lilly?
You can just call me Lilly.
Okay, Lilly, what I'd like to do is start off today and have you tell the folks a little bit about your background, what brought you to New Thought, religious science, and then from that I want you to tell us a little bit about your center.
How much time you got?
We got plenty of time.
I am a New Thought minister. I'm also a Interfaith Alliance minister. And it's been a long journey that brought me to New Thought. I was raised in the Disciples of Christ Church right here in Fresno. There used to be a church downtown, a big brick church that isn't there anymore, but now it's United Christian Church with Natalie Chamberlain over on Shields was the church that I was raised in. I lived in Fresno from the time I was 2 until the day after I graduated from high school, and then I went up and went traveling and lived a lifestyle for about 22 years that was very challenging. I went down the addiction road. I went down the road that was just full of suffering. And I knew that there was something out there that was going to help me. I knew that there was something out there, and I kept thinking that I kept begging, beseeching God to take these faults away from me, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. So what I came to realize was that I needed to come home. So I came home to Fresno, and I got married, and I got clean and sober. That was 23 years ago. And in that journey, I went through a lot of therapy. I was at the Disciples Church, and at the time, there was a lot going on there. There was a lot of kind of political things that were happening
within the church itself?
Within the church itself. And I was having issues around family of origin, parental things. All of that was going on, and I kept trying to move through their modality in order to help myself, in order to find my joy, in order to be.
And where did that lead you?
Well, it led me to leave the Disciples Church.
Sounds good.
Leave the Disciples Church and go searching.
Yeah.
And I went everywhere. I went to all the big steeple churches here in Fresno. I visited the Buddhist temple. I visited most every church. Took months. And I walked in one Sunday. I was invited to Church for Today that used to meet over at the school over at Kettner. Church for Today was led by Reverend Jeanette Freeman, who now has the Oneness Center.
Yeah.
And I walked in there and I went, oh, okay, I can do this, because they were, number one, everybody was really happy.
Surprise.
And they were having a really good time.
Yeah.
And it was lively, and it was open. And there were people of all lifestyles, people of all color, people of all, and I started to know that there were people of different faiths that had grown up in different faiths that were there. And everybody seemed to be getting along. And everybody seemed to be happy. And so I stayed.
How long ago was that?
That was... that was probably 12 years ago.
12 years ago. You know, the story that you relate is a story that we hear very commonly in our philosophy. We hear people show up and they've had life experiences that have been a little on the rough side, shall we say.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. Well, it may range, but they come from many different backgrounds.
Yes.
And very commonly, and when I was talking to Reverend Michael Torfey last week, I asked him, when someone walks into your center, what's the first thing, the feeling they get, what do they experience? And he said what has been told to him is the feeling of being loved and having a loving environment.
Yes.
And that seems to be something that most everybody that finds New Thought, that finds religious science, that's one of the first impressions. And you've been 12 years, but you're no longer at that church now, are you?
No, Church for Today ceased to be some years ago, and Reverend Jeanette went to India.
Okay.
And there was a core group of us that wanted to continue being together. And so we went through a few different experiences and ended up at the Center for Spiritual Living over on Clinton. Reverend Hart, who was the minister there at the time, invited us to come and have our services there before their regular services. It was so very generous and wonderful of her to do that. And so we did. And we were there for about a year and a half. And then it was time for us to find our own home. We had been nomadic for a long time, and we were ready to settle down into our own place. But before we did that, we really had to do a lot of visioning, and we had to do a lot of searching to figure out how to do it in a way that was going to be different than the way that we had done it before. Because what we had experienced is that what we were doing wasn't working, and if what you're doing isn't working, then you have to do something else.
Time for a change.
Time for a change. And so we decided that we would open a community. We would open a place that did not have a senior minister, that did not have one person in charge, that we knew that, there is God and only God, that God is in charge of everything. And other than that, our job is to embody that power, that peace, that love, that joy, that beauty, and to be able to ripple it out as far as we could into the community and beyond.
So that's led to a concept that you have at New Thought Community.
Yes.
Where you are not alone there, are you?
No, I'm not. There are two other very dynamic women ministers that run New Thought Community, that the three of us are ministers. There's Reverend Ana Lopez, who is a shaman healer. There is Reverend Connie Trice, who is a religious science minister, and she has been for a long time, and she is a craniosacral worker and a real master at our education.
Now, we'll step aside for a minute, because you were telling me before the show, Connie also participates in something that's next door.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We have our center where we have our services on Sunday. And then we have next door, and actually getting ready to move and expand, is called the Center for Harmony. It's a place of healing modalities that is connected to the church, but is not necessarily a part of the church. In other words, you can go and have the different modalities of healing without being pressured or anything to come next door to the church. And there are 4 different practitioners there right now, and we're getting ready to expand to 7.
That's dynamite.
Yeah.
So
we're about healing.
That's it.
This center is all about healing. We want to heal not only the physical challenges of the body, but we really want to get in and try to heal the places that we've been suffering, that people have been suffering, and we really are very committed to doing that within our community and to, again,
a broader
take
base
it out.
community.
Yes,
That's great.
absolutely.
So now in our philosophy, which is a participating philosophy,
Yes.
it's a practicing philosophy, healing is a very important part of religious science,
Yes.
science of mind. Now, are your practitioners from your center part of the healing center as practitioners, or is is that kept within the New Thought community?
It's actually, it's both.
Both?
We have on Sunday mornings before service at the church, we have what we call Healing Circle at the Center for Harmony, where all of our prayer practitioners and our interns, our practitioners that are also a part of the church are all there. And we open it up at 9 o'clock to the public. Anyone can come, and for half an hour we are all there to do many different kinds of healing modality. If they want affirmative prayer treatment, we have practitioners there ready to do that. If they want Diksha or oneness blessing, there are a few of us that are indoctrinated into that. If they want a little bit of cranial sacral, they can have that. We have Reiki masters. We have sound healing. We have shaman blessing, and also we have a person there that does neurofeedback, which is very interesting. Ed Ortiz-Nance is one of the practitioners there. And he's a psychotherapist, clinical psychologist, but he also does a modality called neurofeedback, which is very, very helpful, especially for autistic children.
Okay.
And we have an acupuncturist there, Mary Ortiz-Nance, who also works out of the Healing Center. It is a very dynamic place, very alive.
And if I wanted to find this center, whereabouts in the greater Fresno area do I go to find this great place?
It is right next door from New Thought Community. We are at 2060 North Winery. Suite 101 is the church. Suite 102 is Center for Harmony. It's right between Clinton and McKinley on Winery out by the airport, right down the street from the Garden of the Sun and the Discovery Center.
Oh, that's great. So Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, I can show up, and we've got a prayer circle going on. We've got various healing modalities. That's for a half hour?
That's for a half an hour.
Okay,
and then 9:30 meditation starts in the sanctuary.
Okay.
And we have 20 to 30 minutes of meditation there, and then service starts at 10.
At 10. Meditation, is it a guided meditation, or is it a...
It depends on who's doing it.
Okay.
Since there isn't one person in charge, we rotate Sundays. So for my Sundays, usually, sometimes I use a guided. To me, it kind of depends on what the vibration is feeling like in the room. If I have a lot of people that come in that seem to be newcomers and they're not real sure about how meditation works, then I'll use a little bit more guided imagery just to help them get to a quieter place. But if it's people that are pretty good at meditation, that have been practicing for a while, then we usually just very quiet meditation.
More like a mindfulness type.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're going to the center's going to be, the healing part of the center's going to be moving.
Yes.
Where are they moving to?
They're moving just right across the walkway. We've actually taken over another building.
Oh.
And we have 3 more practitioners that are coming on board. We have Rachel Freinholtz, who is a Reiki master, and a couple of other people that are coming on board to do that. And so we need more room. So they took over the building across the way, and we'll be moving our fellowship center over there for the church, since we're quite small. And right now we're kind of busting at the seams. And so we'll move that over there. We're going to move the kids over there into their own space so that they have some room to run and play inside. And then we'll be able to move out the congregation a little bit.
So you mentioned kids. Do we have a youth program there?
We sure do.
I'm a young parent. I've got some little kids, and I want to learn about this great philosophy that you're sharing and that we've been sharing on this show. And I've got kids. Tell me, can I bring my kids to your center?
Oh, absolutely. The kids are a vital part of what we do. We actually have the philosophy that if one of the little kids wants to be in the sanctuary and they're making noise, they're absolutely welcome. We are very family friendly, and we are very child orientated. We want those kids to be a part of the service. We want the kids to have fun and make noise and run around and just be their joyful selves. They're closer to God than some of us sometimes because they haven't been gone that long.
Oh, that's great. That's tremendous. Okay, I'm getting the signal that we're going to be going to a commercial break. So if you'll stick with us, we'll see you on the other side.
Mike Briggs Properties has a very special historic property for sale that can be used as a home or as a business. This classic California craftsman historical home is located in the Tower District, Fresno High area. The interior ambiance displays a heyday of craftsman aesthetics, substance, strength, symmetry, and casual grace. Elegantly appointed mahogany and oak structural elements integrate form and function in a harmonious flow from room to room in this two-story, 4,500-foot home. The property also includes a nearly 800-foot, two-bedroom apartment above the garage. This property is well suited for a professional office type of business or for a large family or combined living and workspace. The lot included with this property is park-sized with plenty of room for expansion or as a parking lot big enough to support a commercial business. For more information on this property, call Mike Briggs Properties at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. America's Sub Shop has arrived in the Tower District. Blimpie's is the best place to get delicious sandwiches, salads, baked goods, and smoothies at reasonable prices. You won't believe the great value of Blimpie's $5 combo deals. The fresh baked bread and big bowl taste will bring you in, and the friendly service and great prices will keep you coming back. A Blimpie sandwich is great on your lunch break or as a healthy meal for the whole family. Try Blimpie's today, located directly across from the Tower Theater. We know you'll love it.
Hi, I'm Greg Rude, a local real estate agent working with London Properties. You might be thinking about buying or selling a property right now, or maybe you just have a question about real estate. I'd love to help you with that. Give me a call at 352-7716, and I can answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you've got a property that's upside down. Maybe you're interested in buying a bank foreclosure and have a question about that. Or maybe you just like someone to show you some houses that you're interested in or have a question about a particular property. Once again, give me a call. My name's Greg, 352-7716, and I'd love to help you. Thanks.
This just in. Tower District houses are selling for as little as $300 per month. If you have a job and decent credit, you can own your own home. If you can come up with a down payment, you can own a home a lot cheaper than you can rent, and your payment will never go up. Also, you could deduct most of your house payment from your income taxes. If you'd like to lock in your monthly house payment at $300 to $500 per month for the next 30 years, call Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
This segment is brought to you by Corrine Hatfield of Platinum Mortgage. If you are thinking of purchasing a new home or refinancing an existing home, call Corrine Hatfield at 917-7111.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back to our second segment. I'm here with the Reverend Lilly from the New Thought Center over on Winery, and we were just talking about the children's services there, but she does something very special as part of the center's program, which is you're the music director.
I'm the music director, yes.
So tell me, how important is music to a spiritual experience?
I go with the same philosophy as I heard at the Agape Spiritual Center down in Southern California first, that said, the music is the message. The music is the message. I believe that music really moves on a higher vibration. Obviously, the sound of music can transport us to a higher place, and I am very ingrained in that philosophy. And I have an amazing band. My husband, Bear, people know him as Bear, is the bass player. We have Noah Christie and Cody Bianchi on keyboards. We have a lot of different people kind of moving through the band. Carol Ann Rubin is a singer along with me. And we just move that music. We learn 5 songs a week to bring for service, and depending on what the topic is, what minister is speaking, depends on what kind of music that we do, and we try to make it match in with what it is that they're talking about. But the whole idea of the music is to just raise that vibration up so that we can all lift.
So what I'm hearing from you is that Sunday service it's an energetic, vibrational, spiritual experience.
Absolutely.
And you use the music as a foundation for that.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Music and word. And we use Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind textbook a lot. But it depends on the minister. Again, depends on what it is they're talking about. When Anna does her services, she usually does the call to the four directions with a conch. She uses Native American flute quite a bit. We have right now in our sanctuary, we have a community drum, a large Native American community drum. We do drumming circles often. We use drumming a lot as a modality for meditation and focus. And we are in the middle of fundraising to buy our own community drum and make our own community drum under the guidance of a few shaman leaders that we know. So
right.
It's very, I like to say our center is like the weather in Hawaii. If you go and you don't like it, just wait 5 minutes because it'll change.
There you go. So you mentioned you've got a drumming circle.
Yes.
That's ongoing.
Yes.
You've got other activities going on. What do you got going on now, and what's coming up?
We have a lot going on, as always. We like to have fun. We really like to eat. We really like to dance, and we like to have a good time. This Sunday, our service is actually going to be blessed with Alea Dow, who is a very well-known sound healer and just an amazing, amazing person. She blesses us often. She comes and does service, and she'll be also offering a prosperity workshop for a $10 donation from 3 to 5 tomorrow afternoon.
Aaliyah has my wife has filled me in, if you will, on Aaliyah. She has a meditation, online meditation that she does and stuff.
Yes.
And she's somebody that if I was looking and I was in Fresno to create a prosperity consciousness, she might be someone I'd particularly want to pay attention to.
Definitely someone that you would want to. I had a friend reach out to me a couple of days ago that said, I have this idea, it keeps coming into my mind, that there is something more than what my life is right now. I feel like I'm starting to wake up. I'm having these visions, and I don't know what to do. What'll I do? And I said, well, come on down, because we're not going to use the word woo-woo at you. But what we are going to do is bring you in and welcome you, because we welcome every faith. We welcome every question. If you have a question about any faith, we have Islamic people in our congregation, we have Catholic people in our congregation, we have Buddhist people in our congregation. We're not a non-denominational, we are a multi-denominational.
That's, when Michael Torphy was here last week, that same concept came up. What is it about New Thought people that are so open to other people's beliefs, other people's backgrounds, their life experience? What is it, in your opinion, what is it that makes, and I'm going to say us,
Yes.
that place where, and it's my understanding that right now there are many, many people that are searching for a spiritual home, that they don't want to be beaten up with old dogma, they don't want to be beaten up with a vengeful, spiritual, wrathful force in the universe. They feel inherently something within themselves
Yes.
that says there's something more to this, there's something better.
Yes.
Your thoughts on that?
Like I said, how much time you got? My thoughts on that are that there is one divine creative intelligence. That name of that can be anything. One of my favorite singer-songwriters is Daniel Nahmod, and he does a song called One Power. And in the chorus he says, you can call it God, call it Jesus, call it angels, call it Baha'u'llah, call it Buddha, call it Muhammad, call it anything you want. I even say you can call it Joe Pesci. It doesn't matter. What it is it is one power. It is one power that is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, and present in every single thing. And that means every single person. So every single person has that inherent question. What is it? They know that there's something more inside of them. And at some point or another in our lives, we all have to find it. We all have to search for it, because if we don't, we are causing ourselves suffering in our lives.
You know, I'm going to pause for a second. It's just because this warms the cockles of my heart, if you will. I have, on a more serious note, I have, over my period of time as a minister, and even during the time I was in seminary, had friends that they've spoken of having an issue with the name that we call divinity, you know, and usually it's referred to as the G word. I've been beat up from my old religious philosophy with the G word, and so, you know, to hear you share that, and I've heard other people share, that's a wonderful idea, because if God is infinite, and I believe that God is infinite, and God is everywhere, which is way beyond this little planet Earth, I mean, way out into the wherever, do you think that it really cares what name that we hang on it?
Yes.
You know, I don't think it really cares. I think it cares more about how we feel about the name that we choose to relate with it. And when we make that connection, because as Reverend Lilly said, God is all present everywhere. There is nowhere where God is not.
That's right.
We say omnipresence. Nowhere where God is not. That means that within me, as me, experiencing me,
Yes.
is that divine.
Yes.
Is you, experiencing you right now. There is a force in the universe for good, a presence for good, and it manifests as you. And when you're here with us today, if there's one thing that I would like for you to take away with you, that is the thing that I'd like for you to take away today. That you're never alone, you're never without, and you are always enough.
Yes, always
Just
enough.
as you are, because
we say this to people every single Sunday. There is nothing broken. There is nothing missing. There is nothing lacking. There is nothing bad about you. Absolutely nothing. And what we know, as soon as we know of your presence, which we know you're out there, is that you are divinely guided, divinely guarded, and that the universe is working in divine and perfect order and for your good on a daily basis.
that is, so it is. Oh, very well said, because, you know, people come in, and you mentioned broken. People
Yes.
come in, and you've had life experiences. Life happens. It just happens. But how we experience life is our choice.
Yes.
And-
And for those of us, there are a lot of us who have experienced that place where we feel absolutely broken, that we feel like, you know, addictive personalities. We've had challenges with that. I am absolutely living proof that you can go from really suffering in your life to absolute joy, absolute peace, absolute faith. And I know that there is a place that you can come however you are and be welcome.
And where do you start? Where do you start? If you realize that you know, I've got an issue in my life, that things aren't going for me, do I have to start somewhere up here, or where do I start?
You start right here where you are.
Right
You
here where I
start
am.
Right here where you are, because God is right here where we are all the time. I like to say omniscient, omnipresent, and omniactive, because God is constantly creating. There's a constant creation going on. Your life is always creating. The river only goes by once. You can't stand in the river and be in the same water.
That's right.
And so if you know that God is constantly flowing, active, then it's up to us to just say, okay. And the great thing to do is there are several places here in town that you can go just as you are. You don't have to know the secret handshake. You don't have to know, you don't have to be anything other than exactly what you are. We welcome you in. We are love and only love. That's my philosophy. It is love and only love.
Love and only love. Well, on that note, and that is a great note, we're off to our next commercial break, and we will see you on the backside. Thank you.
Every week of the month and every month of the year, he's got us making presents and I'm happy. Every girl and boy gets their own kind of toy. We like to fill them with joy. We're working overtime to make them happy. Then on Christmas Eve we jump on big red sleigh. We don't miss a chimney on our jolly way. We won't stop until every kid gets a fill of Santa's brand of goodwill. The thrill of spill and cheer just makes us happy.
Welcome to Voice of the Valley. I am your host, Kathy Wilcox. And two of Kathy's favorite things are going to be featured on the show today. Number one is money. Number two, fun moves. You can do it. Alcohol! My first guest.
Back and forth ever so gently.
I have to get up. I have to show you this dress because I think it was made for me. Doesn't this just scream Maryland? I'm dressed for my Christmas parade outing, as you can see, right here.
Number one selling wine from Argentina.
Argentina.
Kathy Wilcox, Voice of the Valley, Wednesdays at 2 on Channel 43.
Avedian Properties is proud to be the exclusive selling agents for the beautiful Valley Palm subdivision, the premier semi-custom neighborhood in Visalia, located west of Demery and south of Reagan Avenue. The home sites are from 12 to 20,000 square feet. Built by Mangano Homes, these homes have tile roofs, 3-car garages, granite countertops, rain gutters, tiled walkways, Whirlpool gold appliances, and too many other amenities to list. There are 4 different floor plans to choose from, and inventory homes are open Saturdays from noon to 5 and Sundays 1 to 5 or by appointment. Floor plans and lists of amenities can be seen by going to avedian.net and clicking on the Valley Palms icon. Call Avedian Properties at 739-1200 or call Mark Avedian direct at 804-4017 to get a personal tour of any of our remarkable listings. You can view all of Avedian Properties listings at avedian.net. This segment is brought to you by David Parker from the law offices of Parker, Kern, Nard, and Wenzel.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to our third segment today. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the Madera Spiritual Awareness Center, and my guest for today is Reverend Lilly from New Thought Community. Before I go back to my guest, though, I would like to take a moment and encourage you, if you have been enjoying what we've been talking about today and the programs that we've had over the last several weeks, there is a link that is right on the web page that you're looking at that allows you to make a donation to help support this program, or you can go to my center's webpage at maderasac.com, and there is a link there for donations. But I'm going to ask, if you make a donation to support this program, that you make a note with your donation so that we know where to apply it. And so now I'd like to go back to my guest, Reverend Lilly.
Thank you.
So during the break, we were talking about several years ago, there was a movie that came out called The Secret.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Very familiar with The Secret, and another one called What the Bleep Do We Know?
What the bleep do we know? Now, these are various things that are filtering out into society a whole. The Secret was extremely popular,
Yes.
and as they say, it went viral.
Yes.
It just went, throughout the world. But we also have Dr. Wayne Dyer, who, for the last several years, in his PBS programs, he has been sharing a concept that, surprisingly enough, is pretty much right up.
Very much.
What our
Religious science, new thought.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Wayne Dyer just also went through an experience of healing himself from leukemia.
That's my understanding.
And there was some help from John of God in Brazil. And to me, it just is the idea that everything is expanding, that the shift that we have been talking about, some people can call it the apocalypse. Some people, you can call it, again, whatever you want. I like to think that we're going through a shift of consciousness, that people are actually waking up to the idea that there is something more, and in getting in touch with that something more, whatever it is that you want to call it, that you can manifest in your life anything that you need, anything that you want. I believe it is God's great pleasure to give us the keys to the kingdom right now. We don't have to wait for it.
That's right. And Wayne Dyer, and he highlights this on his Wishes Fulfilled program and in his book, this healing that took place. And I want to key on that for a minute, because one of the great parts of our philosophy, if you will, is this idea of a healing consciousness, that there is a power for good in the universe, and that we have it available to us right now.
Yes.
And we'll get back to the idea of prosperity consciousness and stuff, but let's take a moment and focus on the physical health part of this healing.
Yes. We use healing modalities in almost everything we do at New Thought Community. We are a sanctuary and a community that is absolutely devoted to healing. In our mission statement, we say that we are committed to loving, inspiring, and healing. And physical healing is something that we do a lot of. We do a lot of affirmative prayer. We have very active practitioners, and we are experiencing that healing happening in our community all the time. And I am a living example of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit, what if I were to come to seek out a practitioner?
Yes.
And what is it that I'm going to experience?
What you would experience is to come in either to the healing center at 9 o'clock, and as you came in, you would be welcomed with love and asked, what is it that you're after today? How can we serve you? How can we help you? And then if you come into a church service and you seek out a practitioner, and whatever it is that the condition is at the moment, we use affirmative prayer treatment, and can be on a one-on-one basis. It can be on a group basis, to help you understand that there is healing available to you, and that you can be healed, whole, and perfect in spirit right now.
That's a pretty powerful statement.
It's very powerful.
And Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, one of the things that he really emphasized was the idea of practicing this philosophy.
Yes.
It's a philosophy that it's got some wonderful teaching, some wonderful learning, but the idea of practicing in this philosophy, putting it to use in your life, that there's healing available. And as Reverend Lilly was sharing with us, that healing is not just a healing of the heart, but it is a healing, a physical healing. It could be a healing of circumstances. If there really is only one God, and God is all-powerful and everywhere,
Yes.
then my experience as I go through my expression that I call my life should be a God-filled experience.
Yes.
So if I'm out of sorts, if you will, if I'm experiencing what someone might call dis-ease or ill at ease or discomfort or lack or limitation, there is a way, and this philosophy provides a way, that I can find my way back home, if you will. And I'm going to use that statement because
Yes, I
early
like
on,
it.
that's what you said when you were talking about your personal story.
Yes.
It's finding your way back home. And that back home is to the divine.
Absolutely. And I am a firm knower that that kind of healing happens all the time. And that truly, we don't ever say that we don't believe that there is suffering, disease, war, bad things that happen. We know that they do, but what we do know is that they are a temporary condition, and that can change. And it can change by moving your thoughts. You can change your life by changing your thoughts.
Change your thinking, change your
Change
life.
your thinking, change your life.
And
That's what it says in The Secret. It's what Wayne Dyer says. And also we have a wonderful teacher in Eckhart Tolle who keeps bringing us back into the now. And this is one of my favorite tools, is to bring myself right back into this moment, exactly this moment, sitting here looking at you, being here this morning, and knowing that in this moment I have absolutely everything I need, that my body is working perfectly in this moment. All my cells are telling each other to behave and telling each other what to do, saying their divinity to each other. All is well.
And that is in this particular individualized moment.
Yes.
Why is this moment the most powerful thing in our lives?
Because it is all that there is.
There you go.
It is one moment at a time, one moment at a time. And I do a lot of musical theater. And so when I'm in a cast and somebody's really nervous or they're upset about something, I ask them to just take a breath, put their toes down on the earth, and go into that moment, just this moment, this moment. Our brains are hardwired to do two things: ruminate about the past, worry about the future. The more that we can come into this moment, into the vibration of this moment,
So you
the better we are.
You mean all that worry and all that stuff about my past, or your past, if you will, that we carry with us, that doesn't have to have power over my day-to-day life experience?
Absolutely not. I like to say that it's time to move out of the story and into the glory of our lives as it is right now. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a challenge. Everyone. And so I really know that through moving into this philosophy of just being in the moment and knowing that the divine is working in order and for good, and only for good, as Ernest Holmes says, then how can we stay in there?
So
In the whole.
then my worry about things in the future doesn't really have any power either, does it?
No, your life is moving in divine and perfect order. And
Well,
for
wonderful.
good on a daily basis.
I'm glad to hear that. But that's where our power is too. I mean,
Yes.
that's and because we talk about change your thinking, change your life. There's only one point in time that we can change our thinking. It's not 5 minutes
Right
ago,
now.
and it's not 5 minutes from now. It is right
Right now.
And so when life is coming our way and it looks like we might be ready to experience something that is a little less than what we might have thought we didn't invite, reality is we probably did, but we can choose how to respond to it.
Yes.
So I don't have to get myself all worked up or anything. I can just open myself up to something greater than I am.
Yes.
And it's there for us, all of us, right here, right now. And this just excites me because as I was sharing with Reverend Lilly, and I may have shared this last week, I don't remember, but I don't watch the news, I don't read the news, I don't listen to the news, but you can't help but hear what's going on. And this philosophy, and this is one of the things for me personally that attracted me to the philosophy of science of mind, this new thought philosophy where we have a recognition of our responsibility in the creation of our life expression, and that we don't have to participate
Yeah.
in all the stuff.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
and that stuff can be, whether it's lack, limitation, poverty, or disease.
Yes.
It can be bad employment experiences. It can be bad relationship
It could be
experiences.
driving away 41
Yes.
at 5 o'clock on Thursday evening.
And we have the ability
Yes.
to take control and to move into that. That's
Absolutely move into a better place at any time.
very good. Well, we're getting ready to take our last commercial break before our last segment. When we come back, we are going to talk a little bit more about the movie The Secret. There's some stuff, if you watch that movie, Dr. Michael Beckwith was in that movie. He's got a large center down in Southern California. He's got some great stuff that's coming up,
Yes.
and Reverend Lily's going to share that with us. So we'll see you on the backside.
Welcome to Japanese Porch. We have been doing this for a year. My memory of the porch is that it's very much where women ruled. It was almost a throne. You going like that? Oh, I'm circular. See, Southern folks are circular. What she said, preach. You want me to preach? Love sharing those things and those things that'll make you stronger and better and go for. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Turn me around. Hey. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody. Okay, no more drama in my life. To myself, I said self, myself said yeah.
That was a good one.
That was good, girl. I'm good. I'm for you to become the best reflection of yourself. And what was that? The one God intended all along. We're gonna get there together, I promise you. Thank God for the post. Amen.
You can advertise your business, your product, or your event on Central Valley Talk, the Valley's only internet television station. Several of our programs are also picked up on Dish and cable networks. For the best advertising dollar, call Central Valley Talk at 579-1360.
Hey guys, are you watching CentralValleyTalk.com? Are you under 30 or under 30 at heart? Because if you are, you should be watching my show, Basically Branded, 10:30 p.m. Monday and Wednesday nights. Mark your calendars, you guys, because it's chaos here on Monday and Wednesday nights. We have animals, reptiles, cheetahs, actors, singers. It's chaos. And you guys need to be watching, because it might sound like I'm describing Barnum and Bailey Circus, but I'm actually describing my web show, Basically Brandon, Monday and Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m.
I'm the owner and CEO of Central Valley Talk. We produce live programs that broadcast 24 hours per day on the internet website, centralvalleytalk.com. If you like local talk radio, you'll love centralvalleytalk.com. You can watch our local programming on your computer or on your iPhone. This segment is brought to you by Blimpies in the Tower District. For all of your lunch and dinner needs, go to Blimpies in the Tower District.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back, everyone. This is our last segment of another great,
It's gone so fast.
great Saturday show. Yes, it has gone
I had
fast.
such a good time.
This has been wonderful. Before we close out today, Michael Beckwith's got some stuff going on down south.
Yes, he does.
what's up?
This will be my 10th, I believe, trip down to Culver City to the Agape Spiritual Center. Actually, it's going to be at the Marriott at LAX.
Okay.
Because the center isn't big enough to hold Revelation, which is a 4-day intensive. This year, we will be blessed with Ialna Van Zandt, Jean Houston, Will Coleman, and Malidoma Patrice Somé. I believe the African mystic will be there. The music is incredible. Ricky, we do a lot of agape music in our sanctuary, and the 200-voice Agape International Spiritual Choir will be there, and I am so excited and looking forward to coming.
You talk about an uplifting vibration.
Oh my goodness, yes, and they are heroes and mentors of mine that I strive to be able to tap into that same energy that they have.
That's great. Now, we only have a little bit of time left, so what I would like you to do is you've got some things that you want to share with our audience about what's going on at your center. So
yes, we
fill
do.
us in.
Okay, so again, we meet every Sunday. 9 o'clock starts the Healing Center next door. 9:30 meditation, 10 o'clock service every Sunday. And again, if you come, just know that we do rotate ministers, so it's always very different. On Sunday evenings, we have Sunday evening Vespers that happens at 7 o'clock on Sunday evenings, and that's meditation and some study. We have Science of Mind classes that go on all the time. Science of Mind 1, we have 2 classes happening of that right now. Science of Mind 2 is just finishing with the Metaphysical Bible. In the fall, we will be having Science of Mind 3 and starting Science of Mind 1 again. We have lots and lots of classes going on all the time.
That's great.
We'll have workshops and drumming, and we're having, on the, I'm trying to think of when this is. Spring Fling 2012. I'm in charge of this. You'd think I'd know. This is on May the 19th. We're having a dance and a silent auction, and if you've ever been to a dance at New Thought Community, you're in for a great time. We just throw the dance floor down on the floor. We put on some fabulous music. Everybody brings their favorites, and we go. We invite the children onto the dance floor, and we have some great items for silent auction, and that's coming up. We also have the Interfaith Alliance National Day of Prayer service is happening on May the 3rd. That's a Thursday at the St. Paul Newman Center. And we're also involved in doing that, and my band will be doing the music for that service as well.
Oh, that's...
So we have a lot going on. And the last thing I really want to say about New Thought Community.
Yeah.
Nobody gets paid. Just so you know, none of the ministers get paid, none of the band members get paid. Everyone does this as service, and this is a big part of our spiritual path. We just want to serve.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow's Sunday.
That's right.
Tomorrow's Sunday.
Who's going to, if I show up tomorrow, who's going to be speaking tomorrow?
Alea Dow
Alea
will be doing our service
that's right.
tomorrow.
You said that
She
earlier.
is there to do our service in the morning and also to do a workshop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We are always just blessed when she can come and fit us into her very busy schedule. So tomorrow, Alea will be there to do the service. The band will be there to provide the music, and then we will be there for the workshop also in the afternoon.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Do you have anything going on this week? If I can't make it tomorrow, but I'm out here in the audience, and I really have connected with you today,
Yes.
and I wanna be maybe before next week. What is there anything this week? We've got the Vespers tomorrow evening.
Yes.
We've got what's going on Wednesday.
We have a drumming circle happening this next week, and again, we're gearing up for our auction and dance that's happening. But you can reach us at any time, newthoughtcommunity.org. We have a phone number you can call us. If you call us, we will call you back. We promise, and we are always here to talk with you and connect with you and know absolutely the best for you.
Very good. Well, Reverend Lilly, thank you very much for being with me today. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up now for the rest of today. I'd like to take this last little bit of time that I have and promote my center out in Madera. We are located 218 South D Street, kind of catty-cornered across the street from the post office. Tomorrow we will be celebrating Earth Day at the center as part of our Sunday celebration. That will be at 10:30. We have a guided meditation at 9:30, and you're invited out for that. We've got some, as we were talking today about music, I have some guest musicians performing for us tomorrow, 3 young people, Nicole, Ripley, Sean, and Chris. and we're just going to have some great music. We're going to have, like I say, we're going to have an Earth Day celebration. I just, in preparing for this, I found out Earth Day now is celebrating its 42nd birthday, if you will. And it has grown each year in what it's done, and so I would like to, again, invite you to come out for Earth Day. And as we wrap up, once again, I'd like to also invite you to click on the link that takes you to a page where you can make a donation for our programs to help offset our cost. This is something that I feel very powerful about, is getting this message out to our community here in the Central Valley, having the ministers from the various centers on so that they can share what's going on at their centers, and we can share our thoughts, our feelings, and share the love that we have that is generated in a powerful philosophy that just takes us to a whole new level of experience in our lives. It's, like I say, this is near and dear to my heart. As Reverend Lilly has shared her life experience, there's so many of us that have found our way to this philosophy and have made that connection with our source, with the divine, with what we call God, if you will. And God is here for you. God answers prayer. We believe that, we teach it, and we practice it in our teaching. And one of the last things I want to do today as I close out, you'll see the closing credits coming up here shortly, and that was provided for me by Dr. Sallow Stanley. She does the intro and the closing for this program. She has her own program on this station. It's called BS with her and Barb. And I want to send my thanks out also to Peter Mordyke. He has a program on this station because it was Peter that introduced me to this and has allowed me to create this show. So with that, I think I'm just about done today, and we'll wrap it up. Thank you again. As I go, may the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you and the presence of God watch over you. For truly, wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Thank you.
So this is all about really bringing you up to speed what's happening in the Valley in your life. We cover national politics, local politics, and state politics. We've been very involved in the community, and we always appreciate that for those that are willing to step out there and get involved in the process. There is redeeming value in my opinion. And it's the opinion of the host of this show and not necessarily the station, but and they knew that going in. Like I always tell my boys, is every day when you leave the house, and they don't leave my house, they're all gone, is make a difference. Just leave things a little bit different than how you found them, and that including maybe just opening the door for somebody at the gas station because they're guys are supposed to do that. And, on this show, we champion the value of knowledge, and first comes knowledge, then wisdom. Knowledge tells you that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom tells you not to put it into your fruit salad. If you don't care about politics, rest assured you will be governed by those who do. And that's exactly how it goes. For all your real estate needs, it's www.timthiessen.com. Make sure that everyone has a little joy this time of year, even in some pretty dark times for some of our families. So anyway, this hope is once again all about hope, growth, and prosperity, and we're really going to focus on the hope portion of our lives here in the Valley. And all the way, have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Join Tim Thiessen live Wednesdays at 3 on Comcast Channel 10, Dish or UVerse Channel 43, and of course on CentralValleyTalk.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.